Hi, this is Cheryl St.Pierre. In this video, we're going to make this simple swirl ring. And what you're going to need for supplies, I don't have it printed out for you, but it's really simple. You need 20 gauge wire, which is 0.8 millimeters, 1 foot of it, which is 30 centimeters. You're going to need the bead, and I'm using a 4 millimeter turquoise bead today, and this was a 4 millimeter raspberry jade bead. You're going to need a ring mandrel. Now mine has the sizes on it, which is okay if it's not grooved in really deep. Mine isn't. If you have a ring mandrel that doesn't have sizes on it, just take the size that you want, the ring size, and put the ring on and mark it with a permanent marker on each side of it, and that way you'll know that the center of it is the size you want. And you're going to need the standard round nose pliers, which we barely need, flush cutters and chain nose pliers, and you're going to need a rawhide mallet. Now you could use a nylon hammer, but excuse me, I think the rawhide mallet actually does the best job. And I think that's everything. Oh, well, and a ruler, of course. Yes, you'll need your ruler. Okay, so let's begin with taking your 1 foot of 20 gauge wire, putting the ends together, finding the center, and now take your round nose pliers, and about the size that you would put a loop on top of an earring. I want you, we're not making a loop, but we're using that to bend the wire like this. And we don't want the wire crisscrossing, so we kind of need to straighten it too. Okay, so we want it like that. And again, I have to straighten it because it'll wreck your ring if it crisscrosses. Okay, and then squeeze it closed a little bit so it doesn't, we want it to have a bit of a teardrop shape there, but we want the wire to be kind of close together but not crisscrossed. Very important, very important. Okay, so now take your mandrel, your ring mandrel, and excuse me, I'm going to make a size 8 with this ring, and I want it to be just under the size 8 because it'll stretch a little bit as we make the ring. So if you're using the one with the marker, I would recommend just doing it right over the line that is on the smaller side. You're going to have 2 lines on your ring mandrel, the smaller one, the one that has the smaller size. Now I want to bend this to get it started right there, and I want to flatten it like that. So just so it has this shape. Okay, and now again, making sure your wires don't crisscross. Get this out of the way so it stays in focus. I think we're going to bend this. Now, it doesn't have to be round. We just have to make sure that the wires aren't crisscrossing. And I'm putting these wires through there like that. Okay, so it looks crazy, but it's going to work. Trust me. Just make sure those wires aren't crisscrossed. Put it on your ring mandrel and take it, let's say a whole size smaller, just to make it rounded, because I was really wonky with mine. We just want it a little bit rounded. Okay, so now I'm going to put the ring just a smidge smaller than the size 8. So not quite a quarter size, but, and then cinch it up like a belt. As tight as you can at that point. And that's why we need to go a little bit smaller, because we're not going to go as tight as we really need to be. But I'm going to hammer this down, and that'll help. Okay, and it's stretched, so I'm actually going to take my pliers and pull it, because then I'm stronger. Okay. A little bit smaller. Okay, at this point, I'm going to straighten out this wire a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to bend it down and hammer it gently. Now at this point, we're going to make it have that swirl. We're going to go around once, and then larger than it. Okay, so we want it to be like that. So it's a fairly large swirl, really. Okay, and then as we're up, got to decide what's the inner wire. We're going to leave the other wire out, and we're just going to bend that. Just not all the way, but about there. And we're going to put the bead on it before we bend any more. So hard for me to put that bead on under the camera. Okay. So don't want it to be too big of a curve, because then the ring will look awkward. So about like that. So it's nice, kind of in an angle on the other side of the 2 wires. Okay, that works good. And now I'm going to actually slide this off. Now, I ended up with the loop on the right side. It could be this one. I did the opposite, and it doesn't matter which one it works out to. The ring will look pretty either way. So I've got that position like that. Now I'm going to bend it under. So I'm going to support it. I like the look of it. I'm going to support it really well, and I'm going to bend against the side of the ring down so that it looks like that. Okay, we've kept the shape. We like the shape. Now I'm going to take this and bend this through the ring, and I still had that bend for memory to know, and we're going to wrap it around once like this. It doesn't have to be perfectly tight. Oh, I made it too tight. There, I was lucky, and I didn't support it enough, and I should have been supporting it the whole time. There, and that looks good. Okay, so that part's a little bit finicky. That's the hardest part of the whole ring, I would think. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to now make a complementary swirl and carefully swirl this, hopefully in a similar shape. And sometimes you'll have to, sorry, I went out of screen. we'll have to really coax it to look complementary. Take your time. We want to snug that right up to the side there and do exactly the same thing. Okay, so we like that shape, and I keep going to the left of the camera. I'm going to support it, and I'm going to bend it down, and I'm going to keep supporting it. I'm not going to take my fingers off this time. Okay, and I'm going to take my pliers because my fingers aren't strong enough. Okay, so there, I've got that shape. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put it back on the ring mandrel. We're sitting at a size 7. I want to tap things flat before we do the next step. And I'm tapping very softly. We're just coaxing it to be rounded out, and see how it slides up the ring sizer quite a bit when we do that. It's almost at an 8. But I haven't hammered very hard. I'm taking it back off. It's tight, it's hard to take off. There we go. Move my camera back. Okay. So now the next thing I want you to do is take your ruler and measure. We're going to snip this off at 1/2 inch, which is about 12 or 13 millimeters. And so take your ruler, and you want both of them the same length. I just do it over here. This ruler is worn out. It's hard for me to see the measurements on it. Time to throw it away. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. There's this. There's a 1/2 inch. Double checking. Yep, it's exactly 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to make this one the same length. Okay, so now we're going to, if you're holding your ring this way, we're going to do a swirl this way. We're going to start with the outer one first, and then this one, because we want this swirl to be sitting kind of on top of this swirl. So I'm going to take your chain nose pliers at this point. And hopefully you're getting, if you've been following me for a while, you're getting good at making these. So I start with making my curve, and I crimp it back, down and back to kind of close it up as best we can until we're happy. Okay. I've got airspace, try and squish it in. Now, I've got quite a few Mars on this one. When we hammer it, it might take some of those Mars out. Chances are not. If your Mars are really bad, then I would use a metal file to give it the brushed metal look. Okay, and now we want to do the same thing with this one. That one went really well. I'm just going to set it right over top. And now we're going to do some more hammering, and it's going to reshape this. This wire is going to come through. It may or may not split apart like this one. I really like the way it did that on this one. It's kind of split apart there for the wire to go underneath. And I really like that effect, but it wasn't intended. It just happened. So we'll see what this one does. So now we're going to take our mallet and we're going to hammer this swirl down and these down, and your swirls might move on you. You just keep readjusting them. Try not to hit your stone if it's a fragile stone. Turquoise can be fragile. If it's hematite, be very careful, because hematite is almost a glass. It's brittle. And now I want you to hammer your shank lots. Because we're going to make this ring really strong and durable. And see, right now it's exactly on size 8, so that worked out very well. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be strong enough, but we'll test it. And I think you should test it until you're happy, because it should be strong enough that you can't squish it. Mind you, I'm not the strongest person, but you want it to be nice and strong. And there, it turned out really nice. Each one's different. The swirls come out different. The spirals come out different. They sit, the bead sits different. And the fact that I did the opening different changed it up too, but not that much. So there is no right or wrong with how that goes. And there's a sweet little ring that is so easy to size. It just, so many ring designs. Like I have another ring design. It is usually I have to make 2 or 3 rings before it actually is a size that was ordered. And usually people order them. So it's a lot of work to take a ring size, to take a ring order. But this one is great because you almost get it bang on every time. Okay, well, thank you for joining me with this video. I would love it if you could like the video and leave a comment. The comments help me so much, even if it's just a smiley face. Please take the time to do that. Also, if you would share this, give the link out to people, say, hey, this is a cool ring, I made this, maybe you should try it too. Get my videos out there, as well as if you would like to support me, check out my memberships. They'll be written in the description, and the link will be, well, I'm not sure if I have a link for it, but anyways, if you push the join button, which is beside the subscribe button, it takes you to the memberships. And I have my tips and technique videos for $1.99. That's Canadian and US. I believe there's the same price. And my retired videos is a subscription, and you can access all my retired videos, and that's $4.99 a month. And it really helps me with my channel because YouTube is doing more and more to take away the money from the creators. So my income since I first started, and I've been doing it, I think it's going on 4 years, the videos make a quarter of what they used to. And so it's very challenging, and I need your support. I really do. Thank you for joining me. God bless to everybody, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.